Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Get Well, Live Strong. I'm very glad that you're here today. I just came back from the gym, and there's just been such remarkable changes and things going on that I really felt that I needed to share those things with you today. And see, here's the reality. I am 69 years old, but I have never been as old as I am right now. But do you know what else is true? I've never been as strong as I am today at 69 years old. And if someone had told me several years ago that I could have done one thing in my life and it would have made a lot of difference and it would have changed my strength and improved my strength, I would not have believed them. But here I am. But today, I want to share with you that one answer that's too important to miss. And that answer is called creatine. Now, before you click away, please just give me a few minutes. I have never had upper body strength. I have been a weakling my entire life. And I've had little skinny arms and, I couldn't gain a lot of strength. And, I would wind up having to compensate by using some type of mechanics. Like I would use my legs to do something that my arms should have done. I would use levers, or I would use pulleys and ratchet straps and things like that because I didn't have the strength to be able to do the job the way that it needed to be done. But then as I aged and I started thinking about my new metabolically healthy lifestyle, I knew that I needed to set my body up for health over the long haul. And as I began thinking in terms of longevity, I knew that I simply had to get stronger. The reality is that after I retired and I began farming, I actually fell in the garden a few times. And one could argue that, well, you tripped over something or whatever, and that's true enough. But I should have been able to be strong enough to catch myself in most cases. But I wasn't. In one fall, I injured 3 ribs. And another fall, I very seriously injured my back. I knew that I was losing strength, and if I didn't do something about it and do it quick, I was headed for trouble, maybe even a permanent disability. And that was not something that I wanted to do. So I began to research, and through all that research, I personally made the decision to include creatine as part of my healthy lifestyle. So what is creatine? Well, it's not what you think. Most people have never even heard of creatine, but if you've heard of creatine, if you're my age and have heard of creatine, then you just probably think that it's for bodybuilders. It's for the Mr. Atlas and those kinds of people, but it's not. Our body naturally makes creatine. It's not a steroid. It's not a hormone. It's not a protein. It's a small nitrogen-containing organic compound made from 3 amino acids. And 95% of it is stored in your muscles. Besides us, it's naturally found in meat and fish and stuff like that. But here's the truth. As we age, our body doesn't make as much of it as it used to, or as much as we need. And many of us just don't get it from the foods that we eat. So what does creatine do in the body? Let me explain one thing to you. There's something in your body known as ATP. And ATP is your body's energy currency. So think of creatine as a rapid charger that restores ATP when your muscles suddenly need the energy as part of your everyday life, like when you're getting up from a chair, like when you're climbing stairs, like when you're carrying the groceries, like when you catch yourself when you stumble. So why does creatine matter after the age of 40? Well, there's several reasons. Let's go over them. Number one, we naturally lose muscle every decade. Beginning, some people in their 30s, but definitely from age 40 on, we are losing muscle gradually. Less muscle means that you have lower metabolism, you have poorer glucose control, you have less strength, you have greater frailty, you have a higher risk of falling, like I did. Muscle isn't just about appearance. It's one of the body's greatest metabolic organs and one of the things that's going to help you the most as you begin to age. The second reason that creatine is so important after the age of 40 is because muscle is the body's greatest glucose sink. Healthy muscle absorbs glucose. The more muscle generally means that you have better insulin sensitivity, you have better blood sugar control, you have less insulin resistance. And this is one of the reasons that I am so passionate about metabolic health at age 69. The third reason is that creatine helps muscles produce quick energy. You see, creatine replenishes a chemical known as phosphocreatine. Phosphocreatine rapidly restores ATP so that you have it, because that is your energy that in your cell, and the creatine is like the rapid charger for your phone. The fourth reason that creatine is so important after the age of 40 is it helps preserve lean muscle, especially when combined with resistance exercise. Listen, research consistently now shows improvements in lean muscle, physical function, and recovery. The fifth reason, it improves strength. Listen, research consistently shows improvements in lifting ability, grip strength, climbing stairs, standing from a chair, and everyday movement by adding creatine to your daily routine. The number 6 reason that creatine is so important to you after the age of 40 is that it may improve balance. Here's the truth. If you maintain your balance, you'll greatly reduce your likelihood of a fall. You know, I told you that I fell 3 times, suffered 3 they were very painful and pretty serious injuries. Fast forward to after I began using creatine as part of my regular daily regime. One day I was out in the garden, I was out next to the garden, and I was dragging what's known as a pipe guard. And they're very heavy. They're made of a very heavy rubber. And I was pulling one backwards. They weigh about 100 pounds each. And I was pulling it backwards. And I didn't know that there was a little dip and raise in the ground. And I accidentally, as I was pulling back and pulling my entire weight backwards, the back of my heel caught on that lip. And with all my weight, I started going backwards with that 100-pound pipe guard. If it had been before I started my new lifestyle, I would have fallen. Maybe I would have broken a hip. Maybe I would have hit my head. Maybe I would have broken my neck. I don't know, because it didn't happen. Because I was able to, even though I tripped backwards, with all my weight, I was going backwards. I was able to catch myself, regain my balance, and I never fell. And that was one example of what happens with the use of creatine in my life. It really did improve my balance. They say, number 7, that it can help support bone health. You know, creatine doesn't directly build bone, but what it does do is it builds stronger muscles so that you can exercise better, you can have better resistance training, and thereby having better and healthier bones. So it really, they believe that it helps with bone as well, indirectly, not directly. The number 8 reason is that it has been determined that it can improve brain energy. You know, the brain also uses creatine, and research is looking toward the fact that it helps with mental fatigue, memory, cognitive performance. And you know, the 9th thing is that it may reduce fatigue. I will tell you that I have more energy during the day. I have energy like when I would go work out. I would get very sore. I would like come home and I would crash. Nowadays, it's just part of my normal routine. It's like taking a shower, brushing my teeth, making breakfast. It's just a part of my daily routine, and and I'm lifting more weights than I have ever lifted in my entire life. More weight, and it really is true that it helps with improved exercise tolerance. I can do more during the day with less fatigue, and I can coast to the end of the day, and I wasn't able to do that before. But interestingly enough, it's the strangest thing about it, because in my case, while it gives me all that energy during the day, it does not keep me from sleeping at night, which is critical for me because I have a history of having trouble sleeping. And finally, number 10 is probably one of those things. It's kind of like the crown, I think, on all that and all that we've been talking about. And that is that it helps preserve your independence. And, I think that it's probably the thing that people need the most. People don't want bigger muscles, and just to show, I wore a tank top for this video because I just wanted to show you, I am not building, I'm not gargantuan. I am not anything like that. Am I? I'm still like the skinny gal, but I have actually built muscle, and I have actually built a lot of strength. And but I don't want to be able, my goal is not to be able to go to the gym and to be able to bench press 200 pounds. That's not my goal. My goal is that I can do what I do during the day safely and for as long as I so desire to do it. I want to be able to go to the local grocery store and carry my groceries out to the car, put them in my car, carry my groceries in when I get them there. I want to be able to climb stairs. I have 3 stairs coming into my house. I want to be able to climb those stairs with ease. I want to be able to play with the neighborhood kids. I want to be able to play with my dog. I want to be able to get down on the floor and not have to push that little button that says I've fallen and I can't get up. I want to be able to continue serving others. I want to be able to continue doing what God has called me to do. I want to remain independent well into my old age. This is why I care about this. So who do you think will benefit from using creatine as part of their regular day? Adults over the age of 40. Anyone, particularly women, and specifically women after menopause. People who are beginning resistance training, that's going to the gym and doing those sorts of things. And people who eat very little meat. I hope that's not you. That used to be me. And I lost a lot of weight on a whole food plant-based diet, but I lost muscle. That was what I lost. And people who are rebuilding muscle after illness and activity, and that or inactivity, and that's where I am. Let me just show you for just a second. You may ask, where do I get it? Well, I use creatine in 2 different ways, and I just want to show you because I have a problem because I'm relatively new to eating a lot of protein, meat-sourced protein, because I was for so long on a whole food plant-based diet. Sometimes I have a little bit of trouble getting my minimum protein allotment for the day. And so one of the things that I use sometimes is this protein shake. It's made by Ancient Nutrition, Dr. Josh Axe and Jordan Rubin. And if you notice right here, it has creatine in it. So usually I use this. It's got the creatine already in it. But not every day do I use one of those shakes. And in those times, I do still take the creatine. And so I just buy creatine in a powder. I get it at my local health food store. There's a little scoop in it. I just scoop it out. And this is tasteless. Honestly, for me, I just put it under my tongue. As soon as I drink something, it instantly dissolves and it's gone into my system. So I don't have to worry about it. That's what I do. I had a friend the other day that said, well, you know what? I'm looking on Amazon right now and it has creatine gummies. I love gummies. Is that okay? I don't know the first thing about creatine gummies. I really don't. I know that this works. I know that this works because I've used it and it works. But that having been said, I will say, I believe that I believe in my heart that everyone over the age of 40 probably should be taking creatine unless it's medically contraindicated. That if taking a creatine gummy is the only way that you can get daily creatine, then I would say take gummies. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know a thing about them. But if you check it out and the gummies work for you, then okay, take creatine gummies. I'll let you be the decider of that. But and it just points out something very important, that you need to do what works for you. I want to go over real quick about common myths about creatine. Myth number one, it's a steroid. That is absolutely false. Creatine is not a steroid. We've already talked about what creatine is and that it's naturally occurring in the body. Okay, myth number two is that it damages your kidneys. The current evidence that we have from research on creatine is that it is generally safe for healthy individuals when taken in the recommended dosages, but people who already have some type of kidney disorder should consult their healthcare provider before taking creatine. And you should be consulting your healthcare provider anyway. Myth number three is that it's only for bodybuilders. There was a day that was probably true, or they thought that was probably true, and so only bodybuilders took creatine. Well, that is not true. Today, it is widely researched for healthy aging and physical function. Myth number four is that it causes dehydration. That is not true. It does hydrate your muscles, cells, by pulling fluid out of your body, but if you are well hydrated, it has the fluid to pull. So hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Whether you take creatine or not, you should always hydrate, 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 because your entire body down to the cellular level will work better and for longer and healthier if you hydrate. So if you get into that habit, there's not going to be any issue with creatine. Okay? Myth number five is that it causes hair loss. They've tried to research that and tried to prove it. There is, to now, as I am recording this video, no evidence at all in the research that they've done. So the claim has been made, but it's inconclusive. But let me just ask you, do I look like I've lost hair? They have to thin my hair out every time I get a haircut because my hair is so thick. So anyway, take that as you will. So if you decide that you want to take creatine, how much do you take? The standard adult dosage is 3 to 5 grams, not milligrams, grams every day. If you'll see that on this, I'll see if I can get it up here. You can see it. It says plus 5 grams of creatine. And this is dosed with the little scoop that is 5 grams. You may see creatine in the store or whatever that maybe it says 5,000 milligrams. 5,000 milligrams equals 5 grams. So it's 5 grams, 3 to 5 grams per day. Okay? Now, you just have to realize that creatine is not like the magic bullet. But I have to tell you that I have been in the gym lifting weights since I was in high school. I played competitive sports in high school, competitive sports in college, and I played sports and have been very active for the rest of my life. And I, today, at age 69, am lifting more weights than I have ever been able to do in my entire life. But that's good. That's great. I can have bragging rights at the gym maybe. I don't know. But that's not even important. What's important is that I'm strong. If I trip, I can catch myself. I can run up and down the steps. I can carry the things that I need to carry. I can lift things that I need to carry. My back is healthy. That's the most important thing. And that's what I want for you. And for that reason, creatine, I believe, is one of the greatest things that you can have in your longevity toolbox. I really do. It's done wonders for me and my life. It doesn't replace, I mean, it's not like a meal substitute. You can't take this instead of eating your steak or hamburger or whatever. It's not a replacement. It augments what you're already doing. But I believe that if you do add creatine to your daily overall health regime with a really good diet, I believe that it will really make a difference in your life. I really do. It is one of the most well-researched supplements available, at least in the United States, to help adults to support healthy aging. And that's what we want. I want you to be like I am. Well, at least the good parts of me. I want you to be strong like I am. I want you to go into your latter years with strength and being able to be mobile and be able to be independent. And that's what it's all about. And that's why it's the answer that I don't think that you can ignore. So, you know, if this video helped you, I know it's been a little bit longer than my normal videos, but I believe it was worth it. If it's helped you, I would appreciate if you would share it with someone over 40. It might be for them also the exact information that they need to stay stronger, to stay healthier and independent. I would appreciate it if you would do that. Until next time, my friends, get well, live strong. God bless.